Hello, today's video is about the RACGP PEP compatibility assessment. This is mainly for doctors, GPs or family physicians working in different parts of the world. How can they acquire FRACGP from RACGP? FRACGP is the highest medical degree for general practitioners, and it is recognized in many countries, but especially for working unsupervised and in any part of working unsupervised in any part of the Australia. There are a number of countries where the training in family physician or in general practice is recognized to get fellowship. So today's video we will be discussing the documents that are needed, and if you're planning in a year's time, what kind of documents do you need to apply and what kind of verification is needed. So I'll briefly give an overview, and I'll share the link along with this video, where you can just click on the link and that will take you to the RACGP website for any kind of confirmation, and also to read about the detailed information about that may be unique to your situation. I would start by eligibility. So I'll check the country. So first and most important thing is check, are you eligible? Is your country of training on the list? I'll share in the next slide. And the application process has a number of parts, which the RACGP refers to part A, B, C. I'll briefly be discussing each of them. Training program, the duration really depends on the part A outcome. For substantially comparable, it's about 6 months, and for partial comparability assessment it could be 2 years, and the final award is the FRACGP. Now, which countries are a curriculum in family physician or in general practice has been accepted by the RACGP? So it's written in alphabetical order. This may be the one highlighted in yellow, may be relating to a number of people working as GPs in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, or those of our GPs working in Gulf countries, Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman. They could use this route to through the MRCGP's International South Asia route. So this would be quite useful route for them to apply through this route, through the RACGP PEP pathway, which is only taking about 2 years based on the assessment, and they will gain fellowship. Now, what kind of documents do you need? Checklist. First, if you ever had a name change, you need to apply and provide documents for that. Curriculum CV is per the RACGP template. I'll share in the next slide. They have a separate template for this. Letters of support for clinical posts held in the past 48 months. This is quite important. Each letter has to be unique. If you had one employer in the last 48 months, easy job. All you need is just a good letter for that covers for the last 48 months. The letters has to be of a standard so that you are able to work as a GP in Australia. So what the RACGP is doing is to look into the kind of work that you are doing currently, and to make that comparison into what is expected of you to work as a GP in Australia. So it has to be diverse. It has to be relevant to the work that GPs do. It has to cover like every aspect of the general practice work, like from children health, women's health, geriatrics, chronic diseases management, acute care. this is quite tricky part. You can't use template for any of these letters, and if you had a number of posts in the last 48 months, you have to give the duration, you have to give the number of hours you have worked in those weeks, and who was your supervisor, and the supervisor has to give you the letter, and has to be signed, has to be on a practice template. It's always best to check your letters by someone who has done this, who has gone through this pathway. The fourth line, medical degree and specialist medical degree has to be attested or verified by EPIC, and they will send the verification report to AMC. A letter of good standing from the organization that issued your specialist qualification. Evidence of medical registrations from all jurisdictions since graduation. The second last part, quite important. A lot of the people, they feel like they're ready, but when they come to know about this requirement of 50 hours of CPT, you can provide, you should have as many hours as possible, but minimum 50 is good, acceptable. It could be personal learning, it could be from a course that you have undertaken, or if you're planning to apply in 2026, you can plan ahead and complete these 50 hours of CPT. And if any of your certificates are in any other language than English, then you have to provide the certification. So there are some of these things that you can do well ahead, because it's quite time consuming process. So you could save some of the time by having these letters and these verifications and these CPT hours to plan it from beforehand. This is the statutory declaration, where you will attest by authorized witness, and you will sign here and address, and then list of the documents they will attest. And this is the CV template that I was referring in the previous slide. This is available on the RACGP website, and this is also available on the RACGP website. 3 outcomes expected: substantial comparable, or partial comparable, or no comparable. You could be eligible. If you're not eligible, you'll be given other options, like like AMC or other pathways that you could use to work as a doctor in Australia. Now this is the part B. So once your part is completed, you are given, let's say, partial or substantial comparable. You need a job from a practice where you can work. These days there are loads of jobs, and it's totally negotiation between the doctor and the practice, and so it's totally up to you what kind of place do you want, where do you want to work, and it has to be a DPA location, but do you want to work in a closer to a city or in a remote area? It's totally everyone's personal choice. So for part B, supervisor details, scope of practice, and the number of hours. The standard is 38 hours a week, and the duties involved, what kind of work would you be doing, the practice location, and the commencement date. And the RACGP will assess your application in about 3 weeks time. Also, I forgot to mention, the part A assessment will be completed up to 8 to 10 weeks time. Then comes part C. So this is the next stage, APRA medical registration. So the doctor's regulatory body in Australia is called APRA. You apply for it. It has a number of other requirements as well. You can check their website for where you're coming from, whether you need English exam or not, and then you need to apply for visa. Now there are a number of options for visa as well. Skill in demand is a new one for subclass 482, which is the quickest way possible to get to Australia. However, some employers are happy to nominate you from day one, so it's totally we as doctors do qualify for 186 employer nomination scheme visa as well, but it's totally up to the employer and the doctor which one they, but it does take a number of months, extra months, because it does need it has more requirements. However, it makes you eligible for a number of things, like if you were to buy a house, you will pay less stamp duty. That's what I heard. And also health check is another one in Australia, if you need it or your family need it. um, like hospital treatment, and also the kids education would be another factor as well. These are some of the things that I'm aware of. There could be a lot of other benefits to it as well, to the PR visa. After now, this is another common question that a lot of the people would ask: how much does it cost? So the cost is around, for the application, is 575 Australian dollars, and the program fee is around nearly 12,000 Australian dollars. However, if you are partially comparable candidates, the rest, these four parts apply to the partial comparability candidates. This is all the exam bit, so the three parts of the fellowship exams, that's nearly 10,000 or over 10,000 Australian dollars for all the three parts, which you have to complete in 2 years time. Some other costs involved as well, up to 330 US dollars for Epic account, and some nearly 750 Australian dollars for the AMC, Australian Medical Council account. Now, once you have part A, B, C completed, then you sign the agreement with RACGP and pay the required fee, which is about 12,000 Australian dollars. Have an active BLS at the time, and become a RACGP financial member, and then you apply for the Medicare provider number. This may take a number of weeks, it could take up to 12 weeks, and but you cannot work without this, so you need to have the Medicare provider number, and then you can start working and complete your time. And then after the completion of the training, and if you needed exams, you will get the fellowship. Now, in summary, so first check eligibility based on the second slide that I shared, or you can click on the handbook and check your eligibility, and then apply for the comparability assessment, which the part A would take about 8 weeks and the part B would take about 3 weeks. And then you will apply for APRA and the visa, and then the Medicare provider number, and then complete the training. For the substantial comparable, it will take about 6 months, and there are no exams. There will be level 3 supervision required, and you will have to complete the work-based assessments, which has a number of components to that. And then for the partial comparable, you need to have the exams, the three parts of the exams, and then you get the fellowship and enjoy the unrestricted work anywhere in Australia. Overall, the RACGP PEP handbook has all the information, and there are a number of links in that handbook as well, quite useful. A lot of the people do struggle how to compile all these documents, but it looks very complicated, but it's not that complicated actually. If you do have any questions, you can drop it down to me, and the letter part would be quite complicated, and if the RACGP get rejected, so you may have to do it again. Overall, the part A process is about 8 to 10 weeks, and it's really worth it, especially for those of our doctors and GPs who are working in Gulf countries. There's not much progress to their career, and especially for kids and kids education. This is a great opportunity, and also in Australia there are a number of jobs available in anywhere closer to a major city like Melbourne, Perth. Like you could be 1 to 2 hours in a DPA location and still would be able to enjoy the regional areas, and the pay is quite good as well, and also the benefit of applying for permanent residency and citizenship. That's a great huge reward for the family physician and for the GPs. I hope this was useful, and I hope I have covered the information that you were looking for, and I have tried my best to summarize as much as possible, and this information is accurate as of today, which is 15th of December 2024. I wish you best of luck in your application. If you ever feel like you wanted any help, you can drop me a comment there, and I'll be happy to reply as soon as possible. um, Again, I have no financial gain from any of the institutions. I'm purely doing this to help other people, um, just to make their life better. And thank you very much for watching. Best of luck. Bye.